professor, Dr. Hillwig, who actually did some screenwriting in his spare time, and he also taught like broadcast and print journalism writing. But he taught a screenwriting course when I was a junior, and I had always been interested in creative writing. And he really was probably the most formative writing instructor I've had, like including grad school afterward for my MFA. And I think the biggest thing that I learned from him was just that being good wasn't enough, right? To focus on being better, to get better, rather than, you know, kind of, oh, you're talented, like you actually have to work with that talent to do something. And also just to be disciplined and rigorous about writing and to practice it all the time, not just when I felt like it. Also Farrell Wellman, and he and I are still friendly. He really pushed me into my job that I went to out of here, working for the press secretary for the governor, which is not something I would ever have done as a young cynic. And I learned a ton from him, and also just really appreciated that he was giving me the message to stay open to opportunities, even if they weren't necessarily what I thought I had predetermined for my life at that age. He was smart enough to be able to be like, calm down, like you don't know everything, you know, you're just 22. Probably actually media law, because Farrell Wellman was the teacher and made it so interesting, but also so many of the cases were significant. And I actually remember him emphasizing, we had a pop quiz that was how many of the Supreme Court justices you could name. And I realized, like, yeah, we should all know who all the Supreme Court justices are. These are really important people. And so that class actually was much broader than just like what it would sound like it would be. And it made me realize how the fight for freedom of speech like kind of underscores everything. And I think especially right now, like I really appreciate all the stuff I learned in that class, even though it was many, many years ago. Dr. Liz Hanson was great, and also Dr. Barbara Hussey in the English department was fantastic. I had a lot of feminist literature classes with her that I really enjoyed, so I had a ton of great professors here. I remember a really terrible winter that we had when I was working on the Easter Progress as the copy editor. And the copy editor, you know, the editors could kind of, as they finished their sections of work, could leave. But I remember that winter many times being sort of trapped because we would stay until the very last like thing was put to bed, and then there would be like 3 feet of snow and we would have to hike out in it. And that semester of the Progress was one of my favorites, actually, and ended up being one of my favorites because we had all this time we were trapped in the office. We came up with great story ideas. Probably working at the Progress because I was not necessarily a joiner, and because that was something that you had to do if you were going to be a journalism major, and then it turned out I really liked it once I did it, like many things. So I would say, yeah, working at the Progress.